Japan. It's this incredible country where ancient temples sit right next to neon-lit skyscrapers. It's famous for its amazing quality of life, so it's no surprise that tons of people dream of spending their retirement years there. But here's the big question. Can you actually make that dream happen? Let's dig in and find out.
So, can you really settle down for your golden years in the land of the rising sun? Well, the short answer is yes. But, and this is a big but, the path isn't exactly straightforward. It takes a whole lot of careful planning. But hey, with the right info, it's a dream that is absolutely within reach.
So what is it about Japan that makes it such a retirement magnet? Well, for starters, it has one of the best healthcare systems in the entire world, which helps explain why it has the highest life expectancy on the planet. It's also one of the safest countries you could ever live in. And then you add in the rich culture, the stunning natural beauty, and a public transportation system so good you might just forget you ever owned a car.
It all sounds pretty perfect, doesn't it? But, as you probably guessed, there's a catch. And it's a pretty big one, actually. It's something that stops a lot of would-be retirees right in their tracks.
Okay, so here it is, the biggest hurdle of them all. You see, unlike countries like Portugal or Thailand that basically roll out the red carpet for foreign retirees, Japan's approach is, well, let's just say it's a lot more selective. And that's the absolute crucial point. There is no specific "I'm here to retire" visa. You can't just show them your pension statement and get the keys to the country. You have to find another way in. So the question is, how on earth do people actually do it? This is where things get strategic. Since there's no front door, we have to look for the side entrances, the alternative routes that can eventually lead you to living in Japan long term. Let's break down what those options are.
Now this is where you really need to pay attention, because these are the main workarounds. The spouse visa, that's the most direct path. But of course, you have to be married to a Japanese national. For most other people, the designated activities visa is a really key option, but it requires some serious cash. We're talking over 30 million yen in assets. You could also start a business, or if you have some kind of special tie to the country, apply as a long-term resident.
For a lot of people, the ultimate goal, the holy grail, is getting permanent residency. But this is the long game. As you can see, it usually means living in Japan legally for 10 straight years, proving you're financially stable, and of course, keeping a spotless record. It's a total marathon, not a sprint, but getting it means you're finally free from all those visa renewals.
Okay, let's talk money. Because no matter which visa path you choose, you have to prove you can support yourself. So what is the bottom line? What do you actually need to retire comfortably in Japan?
And wow, this chart right here just shows you how much location matters. Just look at the difference in the monthly cost of living between a huge city like Tokyo and a quieter rural area. Your expenses can literally be cut in half. And that, of course, has a massive impact on how you plan your retirement.
All right, so what kind of nest egg are we talking about? Most financial planners will tell you that you need a bare minimum of $250,000 in savings. Though, honestly, a lot of them would suggest aiming closer to $500,000 to be really comfortable, especially if you've got your heart set on living in a big city.
And then there's your ongoing income, from pensions, Social Security, investments, whatever. You really want to be in this range every single month. This is the kind of number the Japanese government is looking for to make sure you can live on your own and won't become a financial burden on the system. And listen to this quote because it just drives the point home perfectly. Your choice of where to live isn't just about your lifestyle. It is a critical financial decision that could seriously add an extra decade or even more to your retirement fund.
So, you've figured out the visa, if you've got your finances in order. What's daily life actually like? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of healthcare, housing, and what might be the single biggest cultural hurdle you'll face.
First up, healthcare. Once you're a resident, you have to enroll in the National Health Insurance, or NHI. It's pretty straightforward. As you can see, the system covers 70% of most of your medical bills. You're on the hook for the other 30%, but there are caps on that, so you're protected from huge expenses. It's a system that's praised all over the world for being both high quality and affordable.
Now, for the big one. The biggest challenge that most expats run into. It's not the food, it's not the customs, it's the language. Sure, you can get by with English in the touristy spots, but for everyday life, like going to the bank, visiting a doctor, or just reading your mail, you are going to need to know Japanese.
But look, it's a challenge you can absolutely prepare for. The best strategy is to start learning the basics before you even get on the plane. Use translation apps to help with daily stuff. Sign up for local classes once you're there. And definitely build a support network of other expats and find English-speaking services. It's all about being proactive.
And what about a place to live? Well, most expat retirees end up renting. It's just way more flexible, even though the initial costs can be surprisingly high. Now, buying a place is technically possible for foreigners, but you have to understand that the property market there is a whole different ballgame. Property often loses value over time, and trying to get a mortgage as a retiree is going to be really, really tough.
So, we've covered the dream, we've talked about the roadblocks, and we've looked at the day-to-day realities. At the end of the day, it all comes down to a very personal decision. Is this whole journey to retire in Japan actually the right move for you?
So let's just quickly recap the main takeaways. First, you have to plan early. And I mean years early, especially for the visa stuff. Second, your finances are absolutely key. Having a lot of savings and a solid income is just not negotiable. Third, you have to be ready to adapt to the culture, and that means really committing to learning the language. And finally, you've got to be flexible. Your plans might have to change, but hey, that's all part of the adventure.
And that's really the ultimate question, isn't it? There is no doubt that Japan offers a secure, healthy, and incredibly rich environment for retirement. The road to get there is demanding, for sure. But for the people who make it happen, the rewards can be absolutely immense. So you have to ask yourself, is that journey worth the destination for you?